that time of the year that industries and their employees await keenly. Yes, it's the appraisal season. So how much, at least Harsh and I are definitely waiting for it. So how much wage hike can you expect as an employee, and how much budget will you need to allocate if you are an employee? And an employer, sorry. This report by AON gives you a sense of what to expect. Now, my colleague Sumita is here to break down the highlights of this survey. Let's take a look.
It is the increment season, but is it all gloom and doom everywhere considering recessionary headwinds? Maybe not if you look at the Aon Salary Survey 2023. Now, according to the survey, salary increments are going to happen in the range of 10.3%, slight dip over last year. Last year, the range was 10.6% for overall all the sectors. But one would wonder, what's leading to so much of optimism that salary increments are going to happen in a double-digit range? Well, Aon has a couple of explanations for this. A, India is emerging as a bright spot, especially when you consider the G20 group of nations. It is going to be the fastest growing economy. Secondly, domestic demand is decent, and of course, improving labor market conditions. Now let's come to the question of which sectors will get the best hikes. Well, it's mostly technology and knowledge-oriented sectors. So you have technology and products which will get the biggest hikes at 12.9%, despite doom and gloom and job cuts. Then, of course, e-commerce will get salary hikes of 12.2%. Then there are global capacity centers, technology consulting services, and of course, financial institutions are also not so far behind. But the big one worry that's coming out of this report is that attrition is pretty high this year. Attrition is going to be at 21.4% vis-a-vis 21% in 2022. So one would wonder, if there are such big recessionary concerns all around, why would people want to quit? And we did see some trends like the Great Resignation crisis, then there was quiet quitting. Well, Aon says that more and more people are now venturing into entrepreneurship. Their attitude towards work is changing, and most of them are also interested in gig jobs or gig work. But going forward, as we can see from the report, it's attrition basically which is going to be a key concern for organizations going forward. So how can they control that? While yearly increments are not going to be enough, they'll also have to have some off-cycle increment engagements, some holistic reward strategies as well.